ورتل القرآن ترتيلا.
Assalamu alaikum. In this lesson, we will be covering Mad Fari'Ee summary. Our learning objectives are: number 1, to be able to define the different types of Mad Fari'Ee rules. Number 2, to be able to identify the Mad Fari'Ee rules. Number 3, to be able to apply correct stretching for each type of Mad Fari'Ee. And finally, to be able to distinguish between Mad Fari'Ee and Mad Asli. So what rules have we covered so far? So for the secondary Mad Fari'Ee, we know that it has two branches, Mad Fari'Ee due to a Hamza and Mad Fari'Ee due to a Sukoon. Mad Fari'Ee due to a Hamza consists of three types of Mad. Mad Sila Kubra, which is a larger connective elongation. Mad Jaiz Munfasil, which is separated permissible elongation. And Mad Wajib Muttasil, which is compulsory connective elongation. Mad Fari'Ee due to Sukoon consists of two branches, a temporary Sukoon and a permanent Sukoon. The temporary Sukoon consists of two types, Mad Arid Sukoon, which is known as temporary elongation, and Mad Leen, which is known as soft elongation. The permanent Sukoon has Mad LAAZIM, which is known as compulsory elongation. Now let's summarize. Mad Jaiz Munfasil. The conditions for this is that it occurs when a huruf mad letter is followed by the letter Hamza at the beginning of the next word. And we stretch this for 2, 4 or 5 counts, never 6. And we must keep that lengthening throughout. For example, بما أنزل وما أنزل. The summary of Mad Wajib Muttasil. The conditions for this is that it occurs when a huruf mad letter is followed by the letter Hamza in one word. This is a mad which is compulsory to lengthen, and we lengthen the mad for 4 to 5 counts. For example, أولئك سواء. The summary of Mad Sila Kubra. The conditions for this is that it occurs when a word ends with the pronoun her, followed by a separated Hamza in the next word. The Hamza must have a haraka on it, that is either a fatha, damma or a kasra, and we lengthen this for 4 to 5 counts. For example, bihi an wathaqahu ahad. And the quick way to identify this is that you will see a small waw or a small ya after the ha with a mad symbol. The summary of Mad Arid Sukoon. The conditions for this is that it occurs when a huruf mad letter is followed by one other letter at the end of a verse or when we are stopping. And we stretch the mad for 2, 4 or 6 counts and keep to that lengthening. For example, خالدون الفاسقين. The summary of Mad Leen. The conditions for this is that we only apply this at the end of a verse or when we are stopping. As we are stopping, we will create a temporary sukoon and we will stretch this for 2, 4 or 6 counts and keep to that lengthening. For example, قريش خوف. And as you can see, there is a ya sakina preceded by a fatha and a waw sakina preceded by a fatha, which makes it a huruf leen letter. Let's summarize Mad Lazim Kalimi Mukhaffaf. The conditions for this is that it occurs when a mad letter is presented in one word with a sukoon. And the word Mukhaffaf refers to the sukoon. We stretch the mad for 6 counts. This type only occurs twice in the Quran. Example, Al-ana. Let's summarize Mad Lazim Kalami Muthaqqal. The conditions for this is that it occurs when there is a shadda after a huruf mad letter in a word. The word muthaqqal refers to the shadda, and we stretch this mud for 6 counts. For example, al-haqqah, was-saffati. Let's summarize mad lazim harafi muthaqqal. The conditions for this is that it occurs in words at the beginning of certain surahs that are spelt out with 3 letters. The middle letter has a harf mud sound and it merges with the last letter. Example, alif lam mim ta sin mim. Let's summarize mad lazim harafi mukhaffaf. The conditions for this is that it occurs at the beginning of certain surahs when there is a harf mud sound followed by a sukoon. We will stretch this for 6 counts. For example, qaf. As you can see, there is a huruf mad followed by the letter fa with a temporary sukoon. So now let's summarize the mad Fari'Ee, the secondary mad that we have covered previously. Mad Fari'Ee consists of 2 branches, mad due to a hamza and mad due to a sukoon. Mad due to a hamza consists of 3 types of mad. Mad sila kubra, and the example we have is bihi an. Mad jaiz munfasil, the example is bima unzila. And mad wajib muttasil, the example is ulaika. Mad Fari'Ee due to a sukoon consists of 2 branches, temporary sukoon and permanent sukoon. For the temporary sukoon, there are 2 types, mad arid lis sukoon, example khalidun, and mad leen, the example is khawf. And permanent sukoon, the type is mad lazim. The mad lazim, to summarize this, it consists of 2 branches, mad lazim kalami and mad lazim harafi. Mad lazim kalafi consists of mukhaffaf. Example of this is al-ana, which comes up twice in the Quran. And kalami muthaqqal. Example of this is ad-dallin. For mad lazim harafi, we also have mukhaffaf. Example is qaf. And we have muthaqqal. Example is alif lam mim. Now let's practice finding some of the mad Fari'Ee rules from different ayahs of the Quran. So let's look at example 1. We can see on the word falamma, it is followed by the letter hamza in the next word, so it will be the rule of mad jaiz munfasil. We can see from the word adaat, the hamza is in the same word after the huruf al-madda, so it will be the rule of mad wajib muttasil. So just to recap, hamza in the next word makes it mad jaiz munfasil. Hamza in the same word makes it mad wajib muttasil. We also have for the word la yubasirun the rule of mad arid, where there is a temporary sukoon after the waw madda. Let's look at another example. We have the word here as-samai, where the hamza is in the same word, which makes it mad wajib muttasil. We have the word fi adhanihim, where there is a hamza in the next word after huruf madda, which makes it mad jaiz munfasil. If we decide to stop on this word al-maut, then this will be the rule of madleen, because we are putting a temporary sukoon after the huruf leen letter, waw sakina preceded by a fatha. And we also have mad arid. As we can see, there is a temporary sukoon after the ya madda and we are stopping. Let's practice a little more. So we have the word here, ma amar Allah, which is the rule of mad jaiz munfasil, because there is a hamza after the huruf madda in the next word. We also have mad sila kubra on the word bihi an yusal. As we can see, there is the ha pronoun which has the mad symbol, and also it is followed by the letter hamza in the next word. We have mad wajib muttasil for the word ulaika, because there is a hamza in the same word after huruf madda. And lastly, we have mad arid on the word al-khasirun, as we are putting a temporary sukoon on the noon after huruf madda as we are stopping. Example number 4. If we carry on with the word bihi al, then this will be the rule of mad sila kubra, as the ha pronoun is followed by the letter hamza in the next word, and we can see on the ya the mad symbol on there. Also, we have mad lazim kalami mukhaffaf, which comes up twice in the Quran for the word al-ana, which we will stretch for 6 counts. And lastly, for the word tasta'jilun, again we have mad arid, where we are putting a temporary sukoon on the noon, which is followed by waw madda. Now we will be practicing mad fari'i and mad asli from the ayahs of the Quran. So example 1. For the word qaf, this is the rule of mad lazim kalami mukhaffaf, which is a rule of mad fari'i. For the word wal Quran, there is the rule of mad badal for the word a, and it's a rule of mad asli, which we will stretch for 2 counts. And lastly, al-majid, where the rule is mad arid, and it is a rule of mad fari'i. Example 2. La on this word is mad jaiz munfasil, as it's the hamza is in the following word, and it will apply from the secondary mad fari'i. Illa, the la is from mad tabi'i, from the mad asli branch, where we will stretch for 2 counts. Yuhyi is mad tamkeen. The yi is mad tamkeen. We will stretch for 2 counts. It is one of the branches of mad asli. If we are stopping on the word wayumit, then this will be classed as mad arid and will be from the branch of mad fari'i. The word from the word aba'ikum is mad badal, and this will be from the branch of mad asli. Ba'ikum is the rule of mad wajib muttasil from the mad fari'i, as the hamza is in the same word as the mad. And lastly, awwalin, this will be mad arid from the branch of mad fari'i, as we are putting a temporary sukoon on the noon, which has been followed by ya madda. So what have we learned in this lesson? We are able to define the different types of mad fari'i rules. We are able to identify the mad fari'i rules. We are able to apply the correct stretching for each type of mad fari'i, and we are able to distinguish between mad fari'i and mad asli. Hope you have benefited from this lesson. Keep seeking knowledge. Ma'as salama.